Hi, as we roll into Thursday, I'm just thinking of my musings on Wednesday. So I was just thinking of Mary and Joseph and the wedded couple, and thinking of the dream unrealized in the book of Hosea, of a spouse who finds another faithful spouse, and they live happily ever after. It doesn't happen in the book of Hosea. It's a story of a loss, of something that didn't happen between Hosea and Gomer. When we think of Mary and Joseph and realizing that they can be the bridge for this dream of love to be realized. The son that they will raise, Jesus, is the covenant of love person. He is actually the groom come to wed the world. And what didn't take place in Hosea's dream or other things will take place as Jesus becomes groom, and we get to be the bride to engage into Christ and become his own. I think of how much of a mismatch it is that God would want to wed us, a people. He's divine, he's God, omnipotent, all-powerful, and we are feeble and weak and little and his creatures. But together, he wants us to put us together and to be the bride. It's as ridiculous a notion as the Song of Songs, when they have the gazelle running around and he's going to fall in love with a little bird creature. How's that going to happen? Well, with God, all things are possible. And with love, all things are possible. The Song of Songs is, "Arise, my love, my beautiful one, come. For winter is past and spring is here, and all the life is come to us." Well, I love that imagery, and I think that Joseph and Mary saw that they could love each other as the prelude to this story of a forever love, a perfect love. And we see then in the two of them the offer of God, that two people can be utterly faithful to each other, and then something marvelous happens. And in Mary and Joseph, they know that there's something about their love, about their marriage, as unique as it is, as unique as the call is, that something beautiful is going to come. Well, we move to Thursday now, and you're going to see I'm standing in front of a calendar and it's backwards, but don't tell me, I think it's right side forward. Well, I was able to avoid the calendar being backwards. Instead, I refilmed, and I'll just film in front of this little fern garden here and say that it's Thursday, the 29th. And we're transitioning from talking about Mary and Joseph, the model couple, and they're the couple that's going to inspire us that God is going to do a recreation for the world. He's going to redeem us and reposition us to be back in his love, and all of us one day to be the bride. And so Mary really is the image of that bride, but the couple, Mary and Joseph, loving each other so well, so deeply, is, with Jesus in the middle, is our model, especially in this year. So one place you always see Joseph and Mary together is people's nativity sets. The Nativity Story movie reminded me of nativity sets and how neat it is to see how they look. There's a lot of different nativity scenes that are made with different things in them. And sometimes people will look at a Presepio, a nativity scene, like from Italy, and they'll say, well, you're missing some oxen, or you're missing some doves, or you're missing the angel, or you're missing this or that. You're missing a midwife. Well, the original nativity is just Mary and Joseph and the child, and you can put a star and a cave, really, just a cave, and that would be your basic nativity scene. But people have combined the stories of of Luke and Matthew's Gospels. They've combined other stories, and they've kind of added some traditions into the Christmas story that are charming. May not be quite historical, but they're charming. So I guess one of the greatest places to go shopping for nativity sets is in Naples, in Italy. And I've been there twice. And about 2 years or so ago, 2.5 years ago, I was going around through the city, and they have amazing nativity stuff. Amazing. Some of the stores have a display that is just like, wow. And I wasn't there in the Christmas or Advent season, but it felt like Christmas just walking up and down through the streets and the stores. Bright, beautiful arrays. Some of them are pretty expensive to buy, but this is what they do. They've been doing it for a long time in Naples, making these images. Well, it was 1223 when Francis of Assisi came up with this idea of the nativity scene. And it is one of my favorite things of Christmas. It still can be a very holy scene, and I'm so appreciative when the White House decides to put up a nativity set in Washington for people to see. I'm glad when it's done. Of course, sometimes it's not done, and there's a movement to get them all eradicated, but I just think St. Francis had the right idea that this is the birth of Jesus, what Christmas is all about. Christmas, the Christ Mass or the Christ celebration. The birth of Jesus usually has farm animals, shepherds, angels, and magi crowding the stable. Mary's usually right next to the child or even holding the child. Joseph is usually standing somewhere in the back, maybe talking to one of the magi or something. He's kind of back, and the men usually took a back row if there was a midwife around, and so some of these scenes had the midwives. But he might have been all alone in that scene. There's a lot of different nativity scenes that are made with different things in them, and sometimes people will look at a Presepio, a nativity scene like from Italy, and they'll say, well, you're missing some oxen, or you're missing some doves, or you're missing the angel, or you're missing this or that. You're missing a midwife. Well, the original nativity is just Mary and Joseph and the child, and you can put a star and a cave, really. Just a cave, and that would be your basic nativity scene. But people have combined the stories of Luke and Matthew's Gospels. They've combined other stories, and they've kind of added some traditions into the Christmas story that are charming. May not be quite historical, but they're charming. Well, I just thought I'd talk about nativity scenes, nativity sets today. Just keep it kind of light as I'm out here in the gardens. And I was thinking of what you might have as I've gone to visit various families and different ethnic backgrounds, nationalities, customs. It's interesting to see what people have picked up. But in the end, the figures of Mary and Joseph and the child who is the Savior of the world, God in the flesh, that's the key Christmas story, and it's still a strong religious image that we have today. Under the cute Christmas scenes, little kids have those little Weeble figures. They weeble and they wobble, but they don't fall down. I recently went to visit Father Weibel, and I was tempted to ask him, are you from that family that wobbles this way, that way, but doesn't fall down? I've seen them in the Christmas story. This is Father Barry.